Okay, so you're passionate, you've got this idea for a nonprofit, you really want to make a difference, tackle something important,
Mm-hmm.
but then you hit the wall, right? The legal stuff, finding a board, figuring out money. It all just seems like this huge, overwhelming mountain.
It really does. And that feeling, that sense of being stuck even before you start, it's so common. People have the vision, the drive, but they're worried.
Worried about doing it wrong.
Exactly. Worried about making a mistake that, jeopardizes the whole thing down the line.
Yeah.
Spinning their wheels doing research, but not actually doing anything concrete.
Yeah, the analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
Which is why we wanted to look into this resource called 90 Days to a New Nonprofit. It uses something called the legacy framework.
Right. And the promise there is a clear roadmap, a structure over 90 days to get you from just that initial idea to actually having an impact, taking away some of that guesswork.
Which sounds pretty appealing when you're feeling lost.
Definitely. It aims to simplify what feels, well, incredibly complex, giving you that structure so you can focus on action instead of just worrying.
Okay, so this legacy framework, let's dive in. What does it actually, include? What are you getting?
Well, it's built as a step-by-step program. The curriculum itself is interesting because they say it's founder-centered, built using input from people who've actually done this.
Real-world experience baked in.
Yeah, and a big part of that is the actual 90-day training structure. It tells you what to focus on week by week, so you always know the next step.
That clarity sounds like the key thing, avoiding that overwhelm.
Absolutely. And they provide practical tools, too, like templates for forms. You'll need legal docs, organizational things. Saves a ton of time.
Less hunting around online.
Right. Plus, explainer videos walking you through the paperwork, workbooks, checklists, things to keep you organized and honestly motivated.
Okay.
And for people who want more direct support, there are options like document review, live Q&A coaching calls, and even a community forum with other founders.
So different levels of engagement possible.
And you get lifetime access, which is handy because you might need to revisit things later as you grow.
Makes sense. So looking at the curriculum itself, those first 90 days, what are some of the really crucial early steps it covers?
It kicks off with making sure your idea is actually needed. Lesson 2 is focused on a community needs assessment.
Right. Validating the problem you think you're solving.
Exactly. Then lesson 3, building your team, which is vital. It's not just finding board members, but really focusing on building a collaborative culture right from the start.
Because that initial team dynamic sets the tone, doesn't it?
It really does. You can't do it alone. And then lesson 4 is about laying a strong foundation. This is where you really nail down your mission, your vision, your core values.
The why behind it all.
Precisely. These aren't just, nice words on a website. They become your compass for every decision.
Tackling those foundational pieces early seems smart for long-term success. Now, the person behind this, Valerie F. Leonard, what's her background? Why trust this approach?
Well, she's got deep experience. We're talking over 20 years in the nonprofit sector. She's apparently guided almost 1,000 founders.
Wow.
And helped raise something like over $100 million in funding for various causes. So it's not just theory. It's very much hands-on practical experience with what works and what doesn't when you're trying to build something that lasts.
So that real-world knowledge is embedded in the framework.
That's the idea. Her focus seems to be on helping leaders create sustainable impact, not just get off the ground.
Okay, so you've got the structure, the expert guidance. If someone decides, all right, I'm going to try this, what does success actually look like? What do they need to bring to the table?
Commitment is key. The program materials emphasize setting aside consistent time each week, actually doing the work.
You can't just buy it and expect magic.
No, definitely not. Engaging with the community, if that's part of the package you choose, helps with accountability. But the main thing is taking action weekly, implementing the lessons.
Right.
And if you have access to those live Q&A or coaching calls, actually using them to get your specific questions answered.
So it's a guided process, but you drive it forward. It seems like it channels your energy more effectively, though.
That's the goal. For you listening, if you felt that overwhelm, that uncertainty about where to start with your nonprofit idea, this kind of framework aims to tackle that directly.
How so?
By giving you that step-by-step plan, reducing the fear of making critical early mistakes because it provides, proven approaches and the necessary tools. It's about boosting your confidence to actually build the impactful organization you're dreaming of.
So think about that specific need you want to address, that change you want to make. What could happen if you had a clear roadmap, a structured way to turn that vision into a functioning reality? Perhaps exploring a resource like this one could be that first confident step forward.